Hello everyone, it's AJ, and today it's Monday. And you know what that means. It's Manga Monday! Yay! And continuing on with Manga Mayhem, we have a shonen series, because I'm trying to bring a different kind of genre every week for this lovely little month of May. And, well, I thought I would bring in a nice little shorty, because it's always nice to pick up a nice short series, and I've just got the perfect one for you. And that is Black Torch. So, there is 5 volumes of this, so very easy to pick up. You may have actually recognised this one because last year, the beginning of last year when I came back after my 4-month break, I basically went, here's new manga that I found. Ta-ding! You would have seen this one. But now I finally have them all. I say finally, I've had them for probably about half a year now. But I just thought, let's talk about it. Why not? We're dedicating the month to manga. Why not? And for a shonen series, I really enjoy it, despite the fact that, spoiler alert, it got cancelled. So, you can probably guess how the ending is. But I digress. I really like this series, and frankly, I was very heartbroken when I got to the end. So, anyway, into the gist of it. First volume. Our main character, Jiro, basically comes from a long line of ninjas within his family, and he also has the ability to talk to animals. He literally sounds like somebody straight out of a fucking Disney movie. Can talk to animals, might as well be in a Disney movie. And then that basically comes to bite him in the arse one day when he meets a cat called Ragu. And, well, this isn't a normal cat. Basically, it turns out that this cat is somewhat of a demon. That's the best way to put it. And, well, part of Jiro's family line of being ninjas is the fact that they fight these kind of demons. But that doesn't stop Jiro. Jiro still helps him anyway, still nurses him back to health and basically kicks him out to try not to fight him because he felt bad for the cat. But that doesn't matter because as soon as he lets him go and whatnot, another demon basically tries to come and get him. Oh. And once again, Ragu is basically almost on his deathbed, and Jiro basically tries to help him, despite Ragu being like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing? Get away from me!" Well, they kind of end up merging together. And that's how this lovely little story begins, about how this ninja is now fused with a demon that he should be technically fighting. Oh. And because of the merge, basically that now puts Jiro now on a fucking watch list. Because now he's basically possessed by a fucking demon. But he's not really, because Ragu basically just works independently to the most degree. He looks like a nice wee spirit, you can see in the cover, he basically just floats around. It's quite funny because he's so fucking snarky. I absolutely love Ragu. I actually love him to bits. Top-notch cat. Top-notch cat. So, with that leads to him basically getting taken away by, the special forces that deal with all these kind of demons and whatnot, to basically be taken away into a special unit. But it doesn't always go smoothly, because why would it go smoothly? Because that's just not how things go, because it's a shonen. Things don't go smoothly. So, whilst being escorted by this lovely lassie to his new, prison, whatnot, because that was essentially the idea of essentially locking him up, and the van gets attacked. And, well, in the midst of a fight of her, and everyone else that's in the car, basically fighting these demons, he just joins in and then just goes, "Ah, you're pretty good at fighting. Shit." So, with that, They tried to come to an agreement and a deal. Because obviously that's how things go. It's a shonen, of course that's how it's going to go. It's kind of like in Jujutsu Kaisen, like, despite for the fact that Yuji has, like, Sukuna in him now, like, they basically make a deal with him to try and, like, make things work out for them, because, like, he's so athletically built and just, like, somehow is able to handle Sukuna at the moment. So, it's kind of like that. Which then leads us to the actual name of Black Torch. This is the name of the unit that he ends up getting put into. Basically, these very highly skill trained people that go after demons, and that's like the name of the branch within like this bigger picture. And then through that we get to meet all the lovely characters that are part of this lovely little bunch of a little team. With the introduction of this lovely gentleman, he basically just goes, no, I ain't working with that fucking thing. Basically, it's like, nope, you're tainted, I ain't working with you. And then they just end up fighting each other just to prove, like, he's like, no, I'm clearly so much more superior than you, X, Y, and Z. And they just fight, literally, they just fight each other just to basically build up their friendship. Yeah, that's kind of how it goes. But basically, he has a big, like, family issues, and, like, he's literally trying to prove himself, and it's all not fun and games on his end, because basically he has to try and be the best, so then he can then... Oh, Jesus, I've just literally realised how many bloody similarities there are to fucking Jujutsu Kaisen. You know how the clans in Jujutsu Kaisen, well, you know how, like, Maki and, like, Megumi basically are, like, despite they're technically part of a clan, they basically reject the clan and whatnot. Yeah, that's somewhat similar to this, apart from he actually wants to do well. Like, he wants to try and lead, so this is why he's here, kind of thing. My god, that's just so weird. Wow, my mind's just been fucked with that. But regardless, basically, the three of them have their own little training arcs and whatnot, basically trying to establish how to work as a team. And funnily enough, within, like, this fucking unit and whatnot, they actually get help from demons to train them. There's a scene in which there's this lassie demon that can, like, make a bit like a mind space and whatnot, and basically they have to, like, work their way out of it. But she's just so nice. I like her. She's just crazy. Just absolutely bonkers. But literally all just because of, like, this guy literally running the shit. Like, he just seems to know the right people and just like, oh yeah, I can do this and I can just tweak this and tweak that. So basically, he's in charge of this whole fucking unit, and this is his lovely assistant who is fucking top notch and just has to deal with everything, and I feel so bad for her. Like, she tries, but, like, oh, she tries. But yeah, so this is basically all of our little team here, just a little small unit, all good and dandy. But basically there's this obviously, like, kind of demonic crisis going around and whatnot. Like, they're spawning up more, they're going off and they're getting people, and then more importantly, because of Ragu, you know, the best demon cat, they're all trying to get at them because they have Ragu. Because basically it turns out that Ragu is literally the most powerful fucking demon that's, like, ever existed, apparently. And they basically were very cruel in their, well, I would say in their past life, but that's not really true. Because basically what happened was, like, see when they captured, like, demons and whatnot, like, they kind of put them in a somewhat coma state for some of them, like, especially, like, the more powerful ones, and somehow, despite being captured at one point, like, I think Ragu was, like, put away for, like, quite a few years or something like that. I don't want to say a stupid number and then it's, like, completely wrong, but basically he was, like, locked up for, like, a really long time. And then he got suddenly, like, released. And this is basically how, like, not that long afterwards, like, because his power hadn't regenerated enough from being, like, in a fucking coma state for God knows how fucking long it was. I want to say at least, like, it must have been, like, decades. I want to say decades, but don't hold me to that. I want to say it was, like, 100 years. But, like I said, I'm not going to... I can't remember off the top of my head right now. Basically, the person that let him go used to be, like, their partner in crime, and they basically want to bring the world back to how it was, like, donkeys ago, where they were basically in charge, and, like, they were the ones that had all the power and whatnot. So, yeah, this is where this lovely gentleman comes in, with his salt and pepper hair, literally. And his little goonie. So he basically wants to bring back a world in which the demons were on top and the humans were beneath them and whatnot, just overruling them, having all the power. But then, because he needs Ragu's power, or he wants Ragu's power, obviously he tries his best to try and get him. Because he has the weird ability of being able to, like, absorb other people's abilities. Like, strength. So, see if he basically defeats another demon and then absorbs them, he basically gets their strength. Yeah. But obviously, having Ragu's power would be obviously the ultimate power. Because Ragu is the only one that's more powerful than him. You can see what it's like. So, obviously, he's causing trouble. Like, his wee goonies are causing trouble. Like, he's got his own little selection and they all go all over the place. Which then, like, ends up at one point, like, kind of splitting them up. And then they're all trying to fight, like, their own kind of version that they need to fight. Basically, it all ends up in a big, like, climatic kind of fight where, like, he's gathered up so many, like, abilities, like, powers and whatnot, like, strength-wise. And basically they're now under threat for the fact that he might actually do something. So the team then comes together, works together to then, like, defeat him, and then it ends up just being a one-on-one match between Salt and Pepper Man and Jiro. I just want to call him Salt and Pepper Man. Yay, to stupid names. But yeah, basically ends up in a big climatic fight, and then, like, how over the course of the story, Jiro and Ragu are basically coming together, working together, understanding each other, because once they kind of get to... I was going to say communicate better, but that's not really the word I'm thinking of. Cooperate better. There we go. Cooperate. Jiro is able to, like, utilize the power that Ragu has, and then basically it's able to, like, extort it into his own power and whatnot. So it's a big power battle at the end. It's a nice little easy series to get into because obviously, like I said, it's only 5 volumes. Like, it's not gonna take you that long to, like, read. The only issue is I had problems getting some of these volumes, and this was like last year, so I don't know if things have changed now, but I remember it took me ages to get 2 and 3. 2 and 3 were my main issues that I could not get out. Like, 1 was very easy to get, and then, like, it kept saying that I could get 4 and 5, like, all the time, and I'm like, no, I need 2 and 3! And, like, the ones that were in stock were, like, the German editions. They kept offering me German, and I'm just like, I can't read German! And also, the German ones are so much cheaper, and it also hurts, but we're not going down there. I was very gutted because, like, throughout the series, it brings up some points for where the characters want to, like, go. So, they build up all these characters and, like, their backstories, and it's like, oh, here's something that they want to overcome, but within, like, these 5 volumes they don't. But at the end of the series, it basically puts them on a stepping stone to, like, do so, and I'm gutted that it got cancelled in the end, because that's why there's only 5 volumes. But at the end of the 5th volume, they basically, like, the author gives you whole pages worth of like what the characters did afterwards and like where their stories went afterwards. And I'm so gutted because one of them is like really interesting because no, I'm not going to spoil because if you actually end up reading it, but let's just say his family storyline is very interesting. And I really am annoyed for the fact that I'll never be able to read it properly. It's so gutting. So gutting. But it's a shonen, so you know kind of what to expect, and it's not too complicated. It's just quite easy and nice to pick up. Like I said, 5 volumes. It's quite a nice wee handy thing, especially if you like collecting and you like completed sets. Like this is an easy one because obviously it's a small amount, but it still does like it still has a chunk of a story, if that makes sense. It does round it up, but obviously with it being a cancelled series, it is a wee bit rushed at the end, and it's kind of like but it's quite nice at the end. Like I said, they do the whole like, oh, here's what happens at the end, here's what happened after this story, but I want to read it. So there we go, another little block series, because I thought might as well just talk about series that are like finished and whatnot, and I've had it sitting like on my shelf for ages, and I didn't see the point of doing it volume by volume. I thought might as well just kind of do an overarching one, and it means I can be a bit more vague but then still try and tell you what it's about, and then you can actually read it, because I know when I do these, for the most part, I'm very spoiling, and I basically just tell you everything that fucking happens. But at least with these series ones, you can actually kind of read it for yourself and get all the little bits, and like it is very funny. I should actually say, it is funny. It's action, but it's also got some good humour, because like I said, Jiro and Ragu are just so fucking snarky towards each other. Their banter's just so good. Like, I love it. So good. Oh, but yeah, so anyway, let me know down below what you think about picking it up, or do you already have it pick up, because I don't actually see all like on manga TikTok, I don't see many people with it in their collections and whatnot, so I think it's just a nice wee kind of underrated little series. But anyway, that's another Manga Monday for us today, and I'll be back next week with a cute little BL. Woohoo! So anyway, until next time, I'm AJ, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.